Hey guys, Captain Andrew with FishHeadwatersLake.com. You're on the lake report for February the 1st, 2023. Air temperature today is supposed to get up to 84 degrees. Welcome to Florida, February 1st, 84 degrees. How can you beat that? Water temperature 70 to 72 degrees. We'll probably see something a little bit warmer this afternoon because we've got that real clear sky. So we'll probably get a little bit warmer this afternoon. The lake level is still about an inch and change above normal pool. Everything seems to be pretty normal. Clarity of the water, the south end crystal clear, middle lake most of that's crystal clear unless you get out on those open flats where the wind's been blowing a little bit, and then you'll see some colored water. The north lake is stained as normal. You know, you've got some areas in the corners where things are a little bit more clear, but for the most part it's got that sort of yellowish tinge to it. We've had some wind lately, so that's kind of kept it stirred up. You know, guys are still catching fish out there, so those fish are just accustomed to having a little bit of more stained water. If you're coming in to fish this weekend, today's Wednesday, so if you're planning on a trip coming in this weekend, be mindful that we do have a cold front coming in. It's 84 degrees today. I think our lows on Saturday and Sunday are supposed to get down to about 64. So, you know, that's still warm, but I mean, that's a 20-degree drop in temperature. So that's a pretty good drop. Water temperature will probably drop 5 to 8 degrees, maybe something like that, but it's not going to throw these fish necessarily into shock, and it'll probably take a couple of days for that water to drop off. Remember, it's just the surface that's dropping so rapidly. Down below that, the water temperature doesn't change nearly as fast, so it shouldn't throw our fish into shock, other than it being a front and the barometric pressure doing all kind of crazy stuff. You fish how you like during the front, pre-front, front, post-front barometric pressure. You do your thing. With the wind blowing 20 miles an hour Friday and Saturday, that's going to be pretty sporty. Keep in mind, we're like a big plane here out on the marsh, so there's nothing to stop the wind. So when they say 20 mile an hour, expect it to be 25 miles an hour. That's going to keep the North Lake blowing out pretty hard. But the good news is there's always a place to hide. You know, on the lake, we've got so many nooks and crannies, you know, to be able to hide. So you can fish the middle lake, the minefield, or the cypress swamp. You know, you'll be able to get into those areas and tuck in and find a place to hide. Down in Egan, there's lots of places to hide and find fish. You know, everywhere from the box pond, the second box pond, all those canals and things that they dug down there. There's always a place to hide. You know, hide from the wind. So you'll be able to find a place to fish. This is a duck hunting weekend, I believe, so be mindful of the duck hunters. Those guys typically stay on the north of the north end, so be mindful of those guys being out here. That's going to be a really windy, tough day for them as well, so give them some room. Keep in mind also, we have our tournament on Saturday. We're not going to fill up the parking lot or anything like that, so it won't be anything different you know, than that. Except our kayakers. Guys, keep an eye out, because we are going to have a handful of kayakers on the water competing. So I don't know if those guys are going to opt for launching at the Sycamore kayak ramp, or if they're going to launch here at the ramp in the boat basin. Keep an eye out for them. Those guys are competing just like you guys are. You know, the rules and regulations in the S Canal, but give them a little bit of extra space. Kayakers, be mindful of the duck hunters on the north end. Duck hunters, watch out for the kayakers. They're limited in where they can go as well. So you guys just try to work together. You know, duck hunters, if you see a kayaker that's getting too close to you, give them a shout. You know, so we don't always look for decoys. We don't know to look. So just give them a shout. Let's all try to work together. So if you guys are coming out this weekend, you know, just be prepared for some wind. Be prepared for some rain. And you know, the fish are still munching. We're still catching good fish constantly. So I got 2 or 3 days left between now and February the 9th. I got a couple of days left, and then March, you know, I'm booked. The rest of February is completely full, but March I'm booking for right now. March is one of my favorite months to fish. The weather's a little bit more stable. We're still getting those spawning fish, but it's like really our springtime. So March is one of my favorite months to fish. So if you want to come down and give them a poke, give me a shout, and let's go fishing.